From Cardinal Television Studio, I'm Kelsey Braun with your Fisher News Brief. At least 3 teens have been killed and 8 others have been wounded in a shooting at a high school in Oxford, Michigan. John Lornick has the latest.
I think this is every parent's worst nightmare.
A lethal shooting rampage turning Oxford High School into a massive crime scene.
We've done 3 sweeps of the high school to make sure that there's no other victims or anything else that we need to be aware of.
3 students have been killed.
A 16-year-old male, a 14-year-old female, and a 17-year-old female. We don't know if they were targeted. We will get to the bottom of that as we get further into this investigation.
Authorities say the suspected shooter is a 15-year-old male sophomore student at the school.
He fired multiple shots, somewhere in the area of 15 to 20. Obviously, if he fired up multiple shots more than 15, he'd have more than 1 magazine.
The Oakland County Sheriff's Office is executing a search warrant at the home of the suspect and say his parents have hired an attorney and told him not to speak with police.
They told him not to speak to police?
That's correct, which is his right. We have to get permission from the parents or the guardian of that juvenile in order to speak to them, and we did not get that.
President Biden says his heart goes out to the families and the community that's been rocked by this tragedy.
As we learn the full details, my heart goes out to the families enduring the unimaginable grief of losing a loved one.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Residents in one upscale Los Angeles neighborhood thought they were in a safe area, but now they are becoming targets. Security camera video recently captured 2 men rob a woman in her own driveway while she was with her baby. Nicole Comstock has that video.
A mom trying to stroll her baby into her own home is targeted by 2 thieves in a brazen robbery in broad daylight. The LAPD says the 2 men in their 20s walked up her driveway and demanded her diaper bag and cooler. And fearing for her baby's safety, the mother handed the bags over right away. It happened Sunday just before sunset in Hancock Park, one of LA's most historic and upscale neighborhoods.
Who cares about the money? I mean, it's not the money, you know, your life. You can't replace your life or your child's life.
Carol Weir is the victim's neighbor.
I felt so sorry for her. I could only imagine what she was going through.
She's lived in Hancock Park since 1976 and says it's frightening to see robberies like the ones recently plaguing the Melrose area trickling down here.
They don't seem to care. I mean, they just walk right up to you with a gun.
It's just unfortunate we live in a society that has degenerated to this level.
And this one looks like another follow home robbery. To the top left of the screen, you can see the suspects pulling up to the curb in a silver car. And just as the mom opens up her security gate, they get out of the car and go after her.
We've got to do something about this. We've got to bring some kind of social and economic justice to this country, or this is going to keep happening. We are going downhill.
Because of the type of neighborhood we live in, you know, it's kind of weird to say, but, you know, we're kind of a target for that.
Alejandro Vicente says with violent crime now trending in rich areas, he's even worried to walk around his Hancock Park street with his pit bull, Greta.
Because that could be us too, you know.
The CDC is strengthening its stance on boosters for all U.S. adults amid concerns over the Omicron coronavirus variant. Top U.S. health officials say vaccinations, boosters, and mask wearing are keys to protecting against any variant of the virus. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
All U.S. adults should get a booster 6 months after the second dose of Pfizer or Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, or 2 months after the single dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. That's the latest recommendation from the CDC.
We cannot predict the future, but we can be prepared for it. To be crystal clear, we have far more tools to fight the variant today than we had at this time last year.
Here's a look at U.S. booster rollout as it stands now. 22% of fully vaccinated people 18 and older have gotten a booster, 32% of those 50 and older, and the largest number of people boosted are 65 and older at about 44%. Pfizer is also expected to seek authorization from the FDA for a booster in those ages 16 and 17, a source familiar with the plan told CNN on Monday.
Vaccines, and particularly boosters, give a level of antibody that even with variants like Delta, give you a degree of cross protection, particularly against severe disease.
There are still many unknowns when it comes to the Omicron coronavirus variant, but top U.S. health officials say its emergence further emphasizes the need for boosters, vaccination, and prevention efforts like mask wearing.
I'm not worried that the vaccines won't work at all, but I am worried that the vaccines will take a hit on their efficacy. And if they do, that's going to make it harder to control this pandemic.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
By now, you probably know that one major aspect of the supply chain crisis is the congestion at U.S. ports as container ships sit idle. Those ships are also heaping pollution into nearby communities. According to a new report, the world's largest retailers are the biggest offenders when it comes to congestion and pollution. The report was conducted by two environmental organizations. It says goods imported by Walmart, Target, Amazon, and IKEA between 2018 and 2020 accounted for 20 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions. As of Monday, there were 84 vessels off the coast of Southern California waiting to unload. Cargo ship emissions have long led to major health concerns for the communities surrounding the ports. Millions of Americans lost their jobs during the COVID pandemic, but something else happened too. Millions more left voluntarily. It's been called the Great Resignation. CNN's Vanessa Yurkovich reports.
A simple task. Kate Santangelo picks up her 7-year-old daughter Grace from school, something she's waited years to do.
Do you recall how often you were able to pick your daughter up from school?
Oh my gosh, never.
But that all changed in April. She quit her 15-year career in sales to be home full-time with her kids.
I was working endless hours and traveling a lot.
If COVID didn't happen, do you think that you still would have quit your job?
No, I think I'd still be there. Yeah, without a doubt.
She's one of millions quitting the workforce in recent months. A record 4.4 million quits in September. It's being called the Great Resignation.
We had so much time that, we had to be sitting in our homes and spending time with people that we live with and just shifting priorities.
And she's one of 4.7 million business applications filed from January through October of this year, a 34% increase from the same time period in 2019. She founded Monmouth Moms, a resource guide for parents.
It allows me to take off if I need to bring, my kids to the doctor or, offer more flexibility in terms of when I can even schedule appointments for them.
It's not just moms leaving the workforce. Americans are retiring in greater numbers too.
What am I looking at behind you guys right now?
That's our RV. Yeah, that's our RV. You got it in the background.
Scott and Mary Banks retired early this September at 57 and 59 respectively, and are road tripping across the country.
Packed up, strapped down, and ready to head down the road.
Scott quit his finance job. Mary left real estate.
I said, what would you think if we did it now instead of waiting 3 more years?
And I'm like, I pushed all my chips in. I'm all in.
1.5 million Americans were on pace to retire during the pandemic. Instead, that number more than doubled to 3.6 million.
And it was just that thought of, gosh, wouldn't it be just a tragedy if we spent all this time working for our retirement and then right near the finish line, you catch a horrible disease and die and never get to enjoy your retirement.
So they capitalized on the hot housing market, sold their home, and hit the road.
How is life on the road compared to the jobs that you left behind?
Gosh, I wish I could say it was tough, but no, it's great. I do not miss at all working right now.
A veteran gets the surprise of a lifetime from The Rock, and an unlikely friendship turned viral holiday tradition is still going strong. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a veteran get an early holiday gift from none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Thank you for your service, brother. Enjoy your new What the heck is happening?
The superstar's surprise unfolded at a screening of his new film, Red Notice, where Navy veteran Oscar Rodriguez was in attendance.
There's a dude here, I read his story, and I was really impressed with his story too. I want to highlight him.
His name is Oscar Rodriguez. Where are you, Oscar?
Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro.
Johnson shared video of his gift for Rodriguez and said he's active at his church and makes meals for domestic violence victims and is now the owner of The Rock's personal F-150 Raptor.
You do a lot of good for people, man.
Rodriguez later shared images of himself with his brand new ride, saying he had no words to express how grateful and blessed he was. The story of a pair of unlikely friends gone viral has become a holiday tradition in itself, as Arizona's Wanda Dench and Jamal Hinton celebrated their 6th Thanksgiving together. By now you know the story. It started in 2016 when Dench texted a Thanksgiving invite by mistake to then 17-year-old Hinton, thinking he was her grandson. Hinton accepted the accidental invite, and the rest is viral history, as the impromptu holiday get-together blossomed into a very real friendship that is still going strong 6 years later, all thanks to a texted twist of fate. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's it for today's news. For Fisher News Brief, I'm Kelsey Braun.